Park Tae-ho stood alone in the center of the grand hall. Around him, thousands of alien faces watched from their seats. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some had no faces at all. They all looked at him like he was an insect. The Grand Hall of the Galaxy Council was the most important place in the universe. For 10,000 years, the 47 species of the galaxy had gathered here to make laws, settle disputes, and decide the fate of worlds. The ceiling stretched so high that clouds formed inside. The walls were made of living crystal that sang soft melodies. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. Tae-ho was the human ambassador. He had traveled 3 months to reach this place. Earth had sent him with one mission: ask the Council for full membership. Humans had been in space for only 80 years. They were new. They were small. But they had hope. He cleared his throat and began to speak. "Honored members of the Galaxy Council," he said. His voice was steady. He had practiced this speech 100 times. "I come before you today as a representative of Earth. We are a young species. We know this. But we have grown quickly. We have learned your languages. We have followed your laws. We have traded peacefully with your merchants. We ask only for a chance to sit among you as equals." Own. Silence. The aliens stared at him. Some whispered to each other in languages he could not understand. Then someone laughed. The laugh came from the highest seat in the hall. Councillor Thren of the Valori Dominion looked down at Tae-ho with 4 cold eyes. The Valori were the oldest species in the galaxy. They had ruled the stars when humans still lived in caves. Thren was their voice on the council, and he had never hidden his hatred for humanity. "Equals?" Thren said. His voice echoed through the hall. "You want to sit among equals? Little human. Do you know how long my people have existed? 60 million years. Your entire species is younger than the dust on my boots." More laughter filled the hall. Tae-ho felt his face grow hot. But he did not look away. "Age does not determine worth," Tae-ho replied. "We may be young, but we learn fast. We adapt. You destroy," Thren interrupted. "That is what you do. We have watched your little planet for centuries. You fight each other constantly. You poison your own world. You are violent, short-lived, and primitive." He leaned forward. "And now, we have learned something very disturbing about your species." Tae-ho felt a chill run down his spine. "I do not understand." Thren smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Our intelligence agents have discovered a secret project on Earth. You call it the Annihilation Protocol, a weapon system designed to destroy entire worlds." He looked around the hall. The humans have been building planet killers while pretending to want peace. The hall erupted in angry voices. Tae-ho raised his hands. "I know nothing about any such project," he said. "I am a diplomat, not a soldier. If such a thing exists, I was not told." "Lies," Thren roared. "All humans do is lie. You smile and speak of peace while building weapons behind your backs. You are a disease. The galaxy would be better without you." High Arbiter Velos, the ancient being who led the council, raised one of his many arms. The hall fell silent. "Ambassador Park," Velos said. His voice was like grinding stones. "You have heard the accusation. How do you respond?" Tae-ho took a deep breath. "I respond with the truth. I am a man of peace. I came here to build bridges, not to threaten anyone. Whatever weapons Earth may or may not have, they are not why I am here. I am here because humans want to be part of your community. We want to learn from you. We want to grow with you." Velos was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke. "The council has decided." Tae-ho blinked. "Decided? There has been no vote. There has been no discussion. I have not been given a chance to." "You are guilty," Velos said simply. "Guilty of representing a dangerous species. Guilty of coming here under false pretenses. The punishment is death." The word hit Tae-ho like a physical blow. Death. He looked around the hall. No one spoke in his defense. No one even looked uncomfortable. "This is murder," he said quietly. I came here under diplomatic protection. I came in peace. You came as a human, Thren said. That is crime enough. Guards surrounded Taeho. They were massive creatures with armored skin and weapons built into their arms. He did not resist. There was no point. They forced him to his knees in the center of the hall. He looked up at the thousands of alien faces watching him. Some looked pleased. Some looked bored. None looked sorry. A guard pressed a weapon against his head. Taeho thought of Earth. He thought of his wife, his daughter, the small house by the sea where he had grown up. He thought of all the humans who had hoped for a better future among the stars. He had failed them. But then a strange calm came over him. He looked directly at Counselor Thren. You have made a terrible mistake, he said. Thren laughed. The only mistake was letting your species leave your planet. The broadcast cameras recorded everything. Every world in the galaxy watched. This was meant to be a message to Earth. You are nothing. The weapon fired. Park Taeho died on his knees, alone, far from home. His body was left in the center of the hall for hours. A warning. A joke. On Earth, in the underground command center of the United Defense Force, Admiral Kim Yuna watched the broadcast. Around her, officers wept, or cursed, or stared in shock. She did none of these things. She simply stood there, very still, as she watched them kill her friend. Then she picked up a secure communicator. Her voice was calm, cold, empty. Activate Protocol 7. The officer on the other end hesitated. Admiral, are you certain? Once we begin, there is no going back. I am certain, she said. They wanted to send us a message. Now we will send one back. She ended the call and turned off the screen. Taeho's frozen face disappeared. Rest now, brother, she whispered. We will take it from here. 3 days passed. On Earth, nothing was the same. The video of Park Taeho's execution spread across the planet in minutes. Every screen showed it. Every person watched it. They saw a good man kneel before aliens who laughed at him. They saw him die with dignity while his killers smiled. And then something happened that had never happened before in human history. Every nation on Earth agreed on something. The old arguments stopped. The borders did not matter anymore. Rich countries and poor countries, old enemies and new friends. They all felt the same thing. Rage. Pure, burning rage. In Seoul, millions marched through the streets carrying pictures of Taeho. In New York, the United Nations building was surrounded by crowds demanding revenge. In Moscow, in Cairo, in Tokyo, in every city, on every continent, the message was the same. Make them pay. The Galaxy Council watched these protests with amusement. Counselor Thren sent a message to Earth's government. He did not even try to hide his contempt. People of Earth, the message said, you have 30 days to surrender all military ships and weapons. You will accept galactic oversight of your planet. If you refuse, we will come and take them by force. You have seen what we do to those who disobey. Do not test us. The message ended with an image of Taeho's body lying on the floor of the Grand Hall. The Council expected fear. They expected begging. They expected humans to fall on their knees like Taeho had. They were wrong. In a secret bunker deep beneath the mountains, Admiral Kim Yuna gathered the leaders of Earth. Presidents, generals, scientists, they all sat around a long table lit by blue lights. The room was silent. Everyone was waiting. Director Lee Dong-soo stood up. He was the head of Earth's Defense Intelligence. A thin man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent 40 years keeping secrets. Now it was time to reveal the biggest one. What I am about to tell you is classified at the highest level, he said. Only 12 people on Earth knew about this before today. Now you will be the 13th. He pressed a button. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed a network of ships hidden in asteroid fields across the galaxy. 200 vessels, all black, all silent. This is the Annihilation Protocol, Dong-soo said. We started building it 40 years ago, right after we first made contact with the galaxy. We hoped we would never need it. We were wrong. A woman at the end of the table spoke. She was old, with white hair and hands that shook slightly. Her name was Dr. Bake G1. She had built these weapons. I designed the protocol as a deterrent, she said. Her voice was soft but clear. I wanted the galaxy to know that if they ever tried to destroy us, we could destroy them back. I never thought we would actually use it. What exactly can it do? Asked the president of the European Federation. G1 closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, there was pain in them. Everything, she said. Each ship carries weapons that can crack a planet in half. We have drones that can replicate themselves and eat through any fleet. We have viruses that can destroy any computer system in seconds. We have biological agents designed to kill each alien species specifically. She paused. And we have the silence. The silence? Someone asked. Devices that can collapse a star into a black hole, G1 said quietly. One button, and an entire solar system disappears. The room was very quiet. Admiral Una stood up. She walked to the front of the room and looked at each person there. Her face showed nothing. No anger. No fear. No doubt. The Council thinks we are weak, she said. They think we will beg for mercy. They executed our ambassador like he was an animal. And they expect us to apologize. She let those words hang in the air. I will not apologize. I will not beg. I will not kneel. She turned to the hologram of the hidden fleet. In 3 weeks, every ship in the protocol will be in position. Every target has been chosen. Every weapon is ready. When I give the order, we will show the galaxy what happens when you murder a human. The president of the Asian coalition raised his hand. Admiral, if we do this, millions will die. Maybe billions. Some of these species had nothing to do with the execution. Una nodded slowly. I know. And that thought keeps me awake at night. But I want you to think about something. If we do nothing, what happens next? They will come here. They will take our ships, our weapons, our freedom. They will treat us like slaves because they think we are too weak to stop them. And someday, when they get bored of us, they will kill us all. She looked at the president with hard eyes. I am not willing to let that happen. Are you? No one answered. Then we are agreed, Una said. Earth goes dark in 6 hours. All communications with the galaxy will stop. Let them think we are afraid. Let them think we are hiding. By the time they realize the truth, it will be too late. The meeting ended. The leaders returned to their countries to prepare. Earth began to shut itself off from the universe. That night, Admiral Una stood alone on a balcony overlooking the ocean. The stars were bright above her. Somewhere out there, aliens were laughing about the dead human ambassador. Somewhere out there, Counselor Thren was planning how to punish Earth for its disobedience. She thought about Teho. They had served together years ago, when she was just a captain, and he was a young diplomat on his first mission. He had believed in peace more than anyone she knew. He used to say that humans and aliens could be friends if they just tried hard enough. He had been wrong. The galaxy did not want friends. It wanted servants. I am sorry, Teho, she whispered to the stars. You deserved better. You deserved a galaxy that would listen to you. But that galaxy does not exist. So I will build a new one. One where no human ever has to kneel again. One. Team 16. She went back inside. There was work to do. Across the galaxy, the council celebrated. They had crushed the human ambassador like a bug. They had sent their demands to Earth. Soon, the troublesome little species would submit, and the galaxy could forget about them. They did not notice the 200 black ships moving silently through the darkness. They did not notice that Earth had stopped talking. They did not notice that humanity had stopped being afraid. They noticed nothing at all, until it was far too late. Captain Shin Hanul had waited her entire life for this day. She had hoped it would never come. She stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, the flagship of Earth's hidden fleet. The ship was beautiful and terrible. A black blade 2 kilometers long, invisible to every sensor the galaxy had ever built. For 20 years, it had floated in an asteroid field at the edge of known space, waiting. Now the waiting was over. "All systems online, Captain," said her first officer, a young man named Cho Min-ki. "Weapons charged. Stealth systems active. The crew is ready." Hanul nodded slowly. Around her, 200 officers worked at their stations. They were the best Earth had. They had trained in secret for years, knowing that one day they might be called upon to do the unthinkable. None of them had complained. None of them had asked questions. They simply prepared. "Open a channel to the fleet," Hanul ordered. The communications screen lit up with the faces of 199 other captains. They floated in asteroid fields and dead solar systems across the galaxy. Some were young. Some were old. All of them wore the same expression. Determination. "This is Captain Shin," she said. "Protocol 7 is active. You all know what that means. In 14 days, we will strike. Each of you has your targets. Each of you knows what to do. There will be no second chances. There will be no retreat. We hit them hard. We hit them fast. And we make them remember this day, forever." She paused and looked at the faces on the screen. "I know some of you are afraid. I know some of you have doubts. That is human. But remember why we are here. Remember what they did to Ambassador Park. Remember how they laughed as they killed him." Her voice grew harder. "They think we are weak. They think we are children playing with toys. They are about to learn the truth. Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive. And humanity does not lose." The captains saluted and the screen went dark. Hanul turned to look out the main window. Stars filled the blackness. Somewhere out there, the aliens were going about their lives, thinking themselves safe. They had no idea what was coming. A soft chime announced an incoming message. Hanul frowned. No one was supposed to contact the fleet during radio silence. "Put it through," she said. A face appeared on her personal screen. It was Ambassador Kira, an alien from a small species called the Neth. Unlike most of the Council, the Neth had always been kind to humans. Kira herself had argued against the execution. She had lost. "Captain Shin," Kira said. Her large eyes were filled with fear. "I know I should not contact you. I know you have every reason to ignore me. But I am begging you, please do not do this." Hanul's face did not change. "You know what they did." "I know. I tried to stop them. I spoke against the execution. I voted against it. But I was one voice among thousands." Kira's voice broke. "There are innocent people on those worlds, Captain. Children who have never heard of Earth. Families who just want to live their lives. You cannot punish them for what the Council did. The Council represents them." Hanul said coldly. "When the Council killed our ambassador, they killed him in the name of every species. They made that choice. Not us. Please," Kira whispered. "I am begging you. Find another way." Hanul was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was almost gentle. "I appreciate what you tried to do, Ambassador. You are proof that not all aliens hate us. But you are also proof that it does not matter. You tried to help us, and you failed. The galaxy does not want peace with humanity. They want us dead or enslaved." She leaned closer to the screen. "We will not be dead. We will not be slaves. So we will do what we must. Stay out of our way. Ambassador, this is the only warning you will get." She cut the connection. On a distant world, Dr. Baek Ji-1 sat alone in her laboratory. Screens surrounded her, showing the positions of the fleet she had created. 200 ships. Thousands of weapons. The power to end civilizations. She had built all of it with her own hands. G1 was 80 years old now. She had started the Annihilation protocol when she was 40. A brilliant young scientist who had just learned that the galaxy was not friendly. She had seen the way aliens looked at humans. She had read the intelligence reports about species that had been wiped out for being too ambitious, too clever, too different. She had known that someday, the galaxy would come for Earth, so she had built humanity's final argument. Her communicator beeped. Admiral Yuna's face appeared. "Doctor," Yuna said. "The fleet is in position. We strike in 14 days. Is there anything you need to tell me? Any last-minute problems?" Ji-won shook her head slowly. "The weapons will work. I made sure of that. Every system has been tested 1,000 times." She paused. "I just wish we did not have to use them." Yuna's expression softened slightly. "So do I. But they gave us no choice." "There is always a choice, Admiral. We are choosing to become monsters." "No," Yuna said firmly. "We are choosing to survive." "There is a difference." "Is there?" Ji-won asked quietly. "After what we are about to do, will anyone be able to tell?" Yuna did not answer. The connection ended. Ji-won turned back to her screens. She watched the little dots that represented her ships, moving slowly into position. Each dot was a death sentence for millions. Each dot was her legacy. She thought about Park Tae-ho, the man she had never met. He had believed in peace. He had believed that humans could earn the respect of the galaxy through kindness and patience. He had been wrong, but he had been good. Now goodness was not enough. Now only power mattered. "I am sorry," she whispered to the screens. "I am sorry for what I built. I am sorry for what you will become. But I will not apologize for keeping my people alive." The fleet continued to move. The countdown continued to tick. On Nexus Prime, the Galaxy Council went about its business. They discussed trade agreements and border disputes. They complained about taxes and regulations. They had already forgotten about the human they had killed. Counselor Thren was in an especially good mood. He had received reports that Earth had gone silent. No communications, no transmissions, nothing. The humans were obviously terrified. Soon they would surrender, and the galaxy could forget this unpleasant business. He did not look at the stars. He did not see the shadows moving among them. He did not understand that in 14 days, everything he knew would burn. But he would learn. They would all learn. Humanity was coming. At exactly 6 in the morning, Earth Standard Time, 200 ships appeared out of nowhere. One moment, the galaxy was peaceful. The next moment, alarms screamed on every military station, every defense platform, every world. Sensors that had never detected anything unusual suddenly showed human vessels everywhere, in orbit around homeworlds, next to space stations, hidden among asteroid belts. They had been there for days. No one had seen them. On Nexus Prime, High Arbiter Velos was pulled from his sleep by panicked officers. His many eyes blinked in confusion as he stared at the tactical display. "This is impossible," he said. "Humans cannot have this technology. Their ships are primitive. Our sensors would have detected them." "Sir," an officer said, his voice shaking. "They are already targeting the station. We have less than 2 minutes before they fire." Velos felt something he had not felt in 1,000 years. Fear. Then every screen on the station flickered. Every screen on every world flickered. Admiral Kim Yuna's face appeared. Calm and cold. "Broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. 72 hours ago, you executed our ambassador," she said. Her voice was soft, but it carried the weight of a death sentence. "You called us vermin. You called us primitive. You told us to kneel." She paused. The galaxy held its breath. "Hear me now. Humanity does not kneel. What happens next is not war. It is judgment. You murdered an innocent man to send us a message. Now we send one back." The screens went dark. The weapons began to fire. Nexus Prime died in 4 minutes. The station that had stood for 10,000 years, the symbol of galactic civilization, broke apart like a toy. High Arbiter Velos had just enough time to realize that everything he believed about humans was wrong. Then he was gone, along with 50,000 others. Across the galaxy, the same scene repeated. Human ships struck without warning and without mercy. Military bases vanished in balls of fire. Defense fleets were torn apart before they could even launch. Communication networks collapsed as quantum viruses ate through their systems. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Captain Shinhan Newell watched the destruction with steady eyes. Her crew worked with silent efficiency. There was no celebration, no cheering. This was not a victory. It was an execution. "Captain," Minki said, "we have located Counselor Thren's ship. He is fleeing toward the Valori homeworld." Hanul nodded slowly. Thren. The one who had called them vermin. The one who had ordered Teho's death. The one who had laughed. "Intercept him," she said. "Do not destroy his ship. Disable it." The vengeance moved like a ghost through the chaos of battle. Valori warships tried to stop it, but they were too slow, too clumsy. Human weapons cut through their shields like paper. In minutes, Thren's escape ship was floating dead in space. Hanul opened a communication channel. Thren's face appeared on the screen. He looked different now. The arrogance was gone. In its place was pure terror. "Captain Shin," he said, his voice trembling. "Please. I was only following orders. The council decided to execute your ambassador, not me. I am just a politician. Please, let me go. I will give you anything. Credits, technology, whatever you want." Hanul stared at him for a long moment. "I remember what you said in the Grand Hall," she said quietly. "You called us war-obsessed vermin. You said the galaxy would be better without us. You laughed when they killed him." "I was wrong," Thren screamed. "I admit it. I was wrong. Humans are not vermin. You are magnificent. You are powerful. Please, have mercy. Mercy." Hanul repeated. "You want mercy." She leaned forward. "Did Park Teho ask for mercy? Did you give it to him?" Thren had no answer. "Broadcast this," Hanul ordered her crew. "Every channel, every world, let them all see." The transmission went out. Billions of aliens watched Counselor Thren beg for his life. They watched him cry. They watched him promise anything, everything, just to survive. Then they watched the vengeance fire. Thren's ship exploded in a silent flash of light. The alien who had ordered humanity's humiliation died, screaming, and the whole galaxy heard it. But the worst was yet to come. The Valori war fleet was the largest in the galaxy. 10,000 ships, built over millions of years, crewed by the finest warriors in existence. They gathered near their homeworld, ready to defend their civilization. Admiral Yuna's voice came over the communication channel. "Activate the silence," she ordered. Dr. Baek Ji-won, watching from Earth, closed her eyes. This was the moment she had dreaded. The moment her greatest creation would be used. 3 small devices, no bigger than a person, launched from hidden positions near the Valori system. They flew toward 3 different stars. The Valori admiral laughed when his sensors detected them. 3 tiny weapons against 10,000 ships? The humans are desperate. He stopped laughing when the first star collapsed. It happened so fast that no one could understand it. One moment, the star was there, burning as it had for billions of years. The next moment, it was gone, replaced by a hole in space that pulled everything toward it. A black hole, instant and absolute. 300 Valori ships vanished in the first second. Then 300 more. Then 1,000. The second star collapsed. Then the third. In less than 5 minutes, the greatest fleet in galactic history was gone. Not defeated, not scattered. Gone. Swallowed by the darkness between stars. The Valori homeworld survived. But it was alone now. Defenseless. Their fleet, their pride, their power, all erased like it had never existed. Across the galaxy, the fighting stopped. Species that had been preparing to resist suddenly surrendered. They had seen what humans could do. They had seen stars die at human command. There was no point in fighting. There was no point in anything except begging for survival. On Earth, Admiral Yuna received the casualty reports. 12 worlds burned. 6 species had lost so many people that they might never recover. Millions of aliens dead in a single day. 40,000 humans had died too. Brave men and women who had given everything to protect their home. Dr. G1 sent her a message. Just one sentence. Was it worth it? Yuna did not reply. She did not know the answer. Captain Hanul walked through the Vengeance after the battle. Her crew was exhausted. Silent. They had done terrible things today. Necessary things. But terrible all the same. She stopped at a window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the remains of Nexus Prime floated in the void. Somewhere out there, Park Taeho's memorial was being written in fire and blood. "We did what we had to do," she whispered. "We survived. We proved we are not weak." But she could not shake the feeling that they had lost something too. Something they might never get back. The galaxy was quiet now. The mighty had fallen. The humans had won. But victory, Hanul realized, tasted like ashes. 6 months had passed since the day the galaxy burned. Nothing was the same. The survivors gathered in a new station, built quickly from the wreckage of the old order. It was smaller than Nexus Prime had been. Simpler. And it orbited Earth. That detail was not an accident. Representatives from 31 species sat in the new council chamber. They had once numbered 47, but some species had been hit so hard that they could no longer participate in galactic politics. They might never participate again. The representatives did not talk among themselves like they used to. They did not laugh or argue or scheme. They simply waited, in silence, for the humans to arrive. Admiral Kim Yuna walked into the chamber with her head held high. She wore her military uniform, decorated with medals she had never wanted to earn. Behind her came Captain Shin Hanul and Director Lee Dong-soo. They took their seats at the head of the table, where High Arbiter Velos had once sat. No one objected. "Thank you for coming," Yuna said. Her voice was calm, almost kind. It made the aliens more afraid, not less. "We have much to discuss." She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed Earth's demands, written in every galactic language. "First," Yuna said, "humanity will receive a permanent seat on this council. We will have full voting rights and veto power over any decision that affects us." The representatives nodded quickly. They had expected this. Second, all species that participated in the execution of Ambassador Park will pay reparations to Earth for the next 100 years. The money will be used to build schools, hospitals, and memorials. More nods, more fear. Third, a memorial to Park Taeho will be built at the exact location where Nexus Prime once stood. Every species will contribute to its construction. Every species will send representatives to its opening ceremony. And every year, on the anniversary of his death, the galaxy will observe a day of silence in his honor. This time, there was a long pause. Building a memorial was one thing. Being forced to mourn a human forever was another. But no one dared to object. Finally, Yuna said, and her voice grew harder. "Any future aggression against humanity, from any species, for any reason, will be met with complete annihilation. No warnings, no negotiations, no mercy." She looked around the room. "We did not want this war. We did not want to kill your people. But you gave us no choice. Now you must live with the consequences, and so must we." The representatives agreed to everything. They had no choice. Earth had won. And everyone knew it. After the meeting, Ambassador Kira approached Admiral Yuna. The small alien looked tired and sad. She had lost many friends in the war. Some had died in the attacks. Others simply refused to speak to her anymore because she had tried to help humans. "Admiral," Kira said quietly, "may I speak with you?" Yuna nodded and led her to a private room. They sat across from each other like old enemies who had grown too tired to fight. "You know they will never forgive you," Kira said. "They will smile and obey, but in their hearts, they will hate you forever. You have made humanity the most feared species in the galaxy." "I know," Yuna said. "Was it worth it?" Yuna was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was heavy. 6 months ago, they killed a man who only wanted peace. They laughed while they did it. They thought we would cry and beg and accept whatever scraps they threw us. She looked at Kira with tired eyes. I could not let that stand. I could not let my people live in a galaxy where we are seen as weak, as prey, so I made them afraid of us instead. But at what cost? Kira asked. Everything, Yuna admitted. We became exactly what they accused us of being. Violent. Dangerous. Merciless. She shook her head slowly. I tell myself it was necessary. I tell myself we had no choice. But some nights, when I close my eyes, I see the worlds we burned. I hear the screams of people who had nothing to do with Teho's death. Kira reached out and touched Yuna's hand. It was a small gesture, almost meaningless. But it was the first kind touch Yuna had felt in months. For what it matters, Kira said. I believe you are not a monster. I believe you did what you thought was right. And I believe that someday, perhaps, humans and aliens can be more than enemies. Yuna almost smiled. You sound like Teho. He believed that too. Maybe he was right, Kira said. Maybe it just takes longer than one lifetime to prove it. Captain Hanul returned to Earth a hero. Parades were held in her honor. Children wore costumes that looked like her uniform. Politicians gave speeches praising her courage. She hated all of it. 3 days after her return, she went to visit Park Tae-ho's family. They lived in a small apartment in Busan, overlooking the sea that Tae-ho had loved. His wife, a quiet woman named Park So-young, welcomed Hanul into their home. His daughter, only 8 years old, sat on the couch, watching her with curious eyes. Hanul bowed deeply. I am sorry, she said. I am sorry I could not save him. I am sorry it took us so long to respond. I am sorry for everything. So-young shook her head. You have nothing to apologize for, Captain. You did what had to be done. My husband would have understood. Would he? Hanul asked. He believed in peace. He believed we could earn the galaxy's respect without violence. I proved him wrong. So-young smiled sadly. He believed in peace. Yes. But he also believed in protecting the people he loved. If he had been in your position, I think he would have done the same thing. Hanul was not sure she believed that, but it was kind of So-young to say it. The daughter, a girl named Park Min-seo, walked up to Hanul. Did you make them pay? She asked. The aliens who hurt my father? Hanul knelt down so she was at the girl's eye level. Yes, she said. They will never forget your father. The whole galaxy will remember his name. Min-seo nodded seriously. Good, she said. Then she hugged Hanul tightly and walked away. Hanul stayed for dinner. They talked about Tae-ho, about the man he had been before he was a symbol. They laughed at old stories and cried at old memories. For a few hours, the war seemed far away. 1 year later, the memorial to Park Tae-ho was completed. It floated in space at the exact coordinates where Nexus Prime had once stood. A massive statue of a man with his hand extended in peace, made from the crystals of the destroyed station. Admiral Yuna stood before it on the unveiling day. Behind her, representatives from every surviving species watched in silence. None of them spoke. None of them dared. She placed a single flower at the base of the statue. A rose from Earth, red as blood. You deserved better, brother, she whispered. You deserved a galaxy that would listen to you. A galaxy that would see your kindness and respond with kindness. But that is not the galaxy we live in. So I built a new one. One where no human ever has to kneel again. She stepped back and read the inscription carved into the base of the statue. It was written in every language known to the galaxy. He came in peace. You answered with death. Humanity answered with fire. May this remind you we ask only for respect. Cross us again, and there will be no one left to build statues. The representatives read those words and trembled. Admiral Yuna turned and walked away. She did not look back. She did not need to. Behind her, the statue of Park Tae-ho stood with his hand extended, offering peace to a galaxy that had finally learned to accept it. The stars were quiet. The galaxy was afraid. and humanity was home.